With me tonight, Kevin from WCD and Beyond podcast.
Hello. I'm doing good. Fantastic.
Brody is currently looking after the forge.
Yes.
On nights.
The forge. I love it.
And we're doing our
great.
thing. So yeah, I had you on the show, which is great because we can have I think this is a great topic we can talk about tonight. Some news tonight that I'll bring up that I think we'll have a pretty good intellectual conversation about. I think for sure.
I can't wait.
Nick wasn't able to join, so now it's going to be an intellectual conversation. So.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not going to be just mindless nonsense added on to an intellectual conversation.
Yeah.
It would have been intellectual otherwise. It's just he would have added. Everyone would be like that was stupid. It was like it's actually just one guy screwing it up. Believe it or not.
Right. Yeah. It's just it appears like it's not intellectual because of one individual.
One individual, weird. Exactly. Yeah.
Weird how that happens. But anyways, yeah. If you're listening to the show for the first time, thank you so much. We go live every Thursday evenings at 9:30 Eastern, and the audio version of the podcast is available super early Friday mornings. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Evan, do you want to plug WCD real quick before we jump into stuff?
Yeah, I actually had to look up our socials because I don't know them off the top of my head. Yeah, you can follow us at Beyond WASD on Twitter and on Instagram. I gotta pull that one up too. I have the link tree. Oh no, Instagram doesn't work. Error occurred. I think it's the same thing. I think it's Beyond WASD or WASD Podcast. One of those two. Those are like two main socials that Nick uses. I don't do anything with the socials. I don't care. Mostly because he just doesn't post things, and most of the time when he does post things, he spells them wrong, like he has errors, and I just
a trash Nick podcast.
Oh, it's just a trash spelling of things, and that's the only time I respond. I think I actually comment on our Instagrams, but the same thing all the bots do. So it's just like they all say promoted on Reality Records, and then I myself go on there and say promoted on Reality Records just to piss him off. Just to give him an extra headache.
Oh shit, that's fantastic. Anyways, tonight's topic, a little interesting, which is, I guess, to sum it up, is kind of who's responsible for gaming letdowns,
I'm gonna upset so many people.
A pretty big theme right now, especially in the last couple of weeks, especially today. We'll jump into kind of Battlefield 2042 stuff. We'll jump into GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition. Lots of crazy shit going on there. And we'll jump into the older stuff as well. But yeah, I guess to start off on this, I mean, I think it's like a three-faceted problem. I feel like in the last couple of months, it was actually getting better.
Really?
Yeah, I felt like it was getting better. I felt like we peaked at Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's
right?
Like the catalyst for so many people.
Yeah, because Cyberpunk felt like a fulfilling prophecy, where it was basically like people, the dev came out with a date, and I get it, you come up with something and then, shit comes up and you can't hit the deadline. Okay, cool. But it got pushed back a couple times. Right. And then people were like, what the fuck, release this game, please. And then the pressure was on big time. And then Cyberpunk kept on, at the same time as it pushing itself back constantly, it was also hyping up more shit at the same time. So there was just, feeding the flames of that. And then what we ended up getting on release was hot trash.
It was like a bad McRib.
Ooh.
Or, just anything from McDonald's.
Yeah, McDonald's is
I'm rattling off my list of people to upset or people to flame, and it's it started with McDonald's.
You think there's a big McDonald's crowd?
I think there's with gamers, absolutely. It's fast food, it's they get it in before their Overwatch match.
Fast food is McDonald's?
That's a good point. I don't know. I think most actually it would probably be Taco Bell. Yeah, it'd be Taco Bell. Whatever, I'll figure out some way to rope them in.
I mean, I don't. There's not much at McDonald's anymore that is good in my mind. I don't know.
No, yeah. I mean, I think to myself, oh, that breakfast sounds great, and then I have it, and I'm like, I shouldn't have. That's not good.
Yeah, it's diarrhea. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's messing with my insides. Yeah, wild. I'm not like Nick, where I have McDonald's twice in a day, and then go, man, I wonder where my stomach sits. It's I know exactly what caused the problem.
He does not have it twice a day, does he?
No, he doesn't. But I know that he would go I had McDonald's and now I can't get off the toilet. It's well, I can't imagine what the reason would be.
How did we get here?
Yeah, really.
God. Yeah, no, but I feel like it peaked then. And then I think it kind of subdued a bit, and then I think it's definitely started kind of picking back up again
It's crawling back there.
with
Yeah.
some releases to this. I mean, do you want to go like right off the bat with your Battlefield stuff? Because you brought that up in the Discord today with a bunch of
Yeah.
shit.
So like I was checking it throughout the day and like as more reviews in progress were coming out because apparently EA had three separate events over like the past week or two.
Okay.
They had three events where reviewers and creators could come and they could play for like 3 or 4 hours, and each event was one section of the game. So it was Hazard Zone one night, and then the next night it was all Portal, and then the night after that it was just the regular all out warfare, like regular experience of Battlefield 2042. And um so like it was funny reading a lot of the reviews because the reviews from non-major gaming publications was just great to read because it's like they're like, this is stupid and I can't believe that this happened. It's like, everybody else in the gaming world has known about this, like how this part of the game works or something like that. Like and this is funny because Polygon is sometimes a gaming journalist like place, and they're not good at it because one of them, the one I posted, was, oh, well, the problem with some of the maps is that they're so big you can't feasibly cross them on foot. And I'm like, no, that's why they gave every gamer a tablet to call in a dune buggy.
Yeah.
Like, and if you had known that, you wouldn't have complained, I think. But like most of the reviews have been positive. They've been like, yeah, it's got some problems and all that kind of stuff, and we don't really know how it's going to work in terms of Afterlife. But like the game and the core of it is good, and like that's where I think that really matters to me, especially like I like when publications, especially like with gaming, like GameSpot, PC Gamer, are just straight up in IGN. But I didn't see IGN's review yet. They're just honest, and they're just like, the core game is good, but here are the problems, and I appreciate that. And I think other gamers will appreciate that when they're like, yeah, that's like, okay, we agree with that. But then you look at like I follow the Reddit of Battlefield,
Yeah.
and good God, that's some great content. Oh, so many angry people all the time
Yeah, I
about
know.
like
I've been following that
meaningless
lately
stuff.
too, and it's a mix though. There's a lot of people that are like, "Hey, this is still a pretty
Yeah,
good game," and they'll fix it up. I mean, that's
that's
the
true.
one thing that is at least nice with that is that they will eventually get it right. How long that takes, I have no idea.
Dice
But
always gets it right at some point though. Yeah, like in some games, like I think Battlefield 5 might be the only one where they like didn't do it in a timely fashion, but like Battlefield 1 they fixed quite well and then continued to release content for it. Same with Battlefield 4. Like they fixed a decent, or at least the major problems, and then added more stuff. So it was like, yeah, the beginning of the game was not good, but like the life cycle of the game and like the lifespan of it is still pretty good because people still play Battlefield 4 like a lot.
do you think people are gonna like use these massive maps just to be like a sniper haven?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so, especially now because snipers can just bring in like ammo packs and they can just constantly I think I actually read from one review today. They were like, well, yeah, well, now snipers can bring in ammo so they can literally snipe until the heat death of the universe comes because they'll never run out of ammo. So like, yeah, I can see it becoming easily a sniper haven, but I think with a lot of what you have to offer in terms of specialists and movement and just like I think maybe just the sheer size of the maps as well, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to want to run around and explore every little spot at first
Yeah,
anyway, I hope.
yeah.
I'm
Like
going to be
there's
pretty upset if I get into a game and it's like half the people are already
oh,
snipers and be like,
dude,
bro.
there's a like a video on Reddit where the guy jumps off this cliff on like a snowy map, in his
Yeah.
wingsuit, and he just goes for like 2 minutes straight
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
in just
that's
one
awesome.
direction.
Yeah, that's cool. Like
That is
that's what
cool.
gets
That
me
is
excited.
neat. I
Yeah.
dig that a lot. I mean, I think that's pretty neat. Like, I'm still weary about it, like playing it, but I'm. I mean, I'll play it. Like, I mean, that's again to my point. Like, I know it'll get better eventually, but my
Yeah.
fear with that is like, how bad is it at the beginning? Because how many people are actually gonna stick around? You know?
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play everything, but like a lot of what I've read from all those reviews today was that Portal's the best thing. Like more than the game itself, like in terms of like just the standard modes they
So
have on offer.
have you ripped in? You haven't ripped into Portal at all, right? Because you don't have like
No.
you didn't get into like special access or anything at all.
No, I didn't get anything special. The only thing I was able to play was just the regular beta that everybody else got.
So what makes the portals like what makes Portal so good? Like what have people said about it?
So what they've said about it was that, well, it's I think it's the nostalgia factor because you get to play Battlefield 3 maps with Battlefield 3 guns and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And a lot. So the funny thing was is that everybody at the that was able to play at these events, like the creators and the review, like the publications, were like Portal's the best thing about it. But the only one I saw that I actually really enjoyed reading from was Rock Paper Shotgun, who's the guy who reviewed it was like, it's so cool, but the problem was is that EA was so strict about these events that like the game modes they created for us were not at all fun. Like they weren't cool. He was like, we got to play something from Courage called VIP Fiesta, which is like some random person on a team gets to be a VIP, and then everybody, you have to take that person out. And then another one was some form of free for all. He's like, that was all kind and like that was like cool, I guess, but they were just simple game modes. He said what was cool was another free for all match where it was we all just got rocket launchers. And once you shot your rocket, the only way to reload was to jump 5 times. So you had to jump 5 times to reload your rocket, and I was like, that's cool. I'm like to be able to create that, and you don't even have to own the game. Like you can just go onto the Portal website and make your game mode and not even own the game, and just like say, hey, here's what it is. And like that's gonna be the cool thing, I think, is just people they're able to be creative. They're like, yeah, here's Battlefield 2042 maps, but you're only able to use 1942 weapons. It's like, oh, cool. So now we have World War II weapons and all this kind of nonsense and tanks and vehicles and all that stuff, but we're in a modern South Korean city. Like I think that's
Yeah.
kind of neat, and that's like just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, like I said, like if you can create things where it's like, yeah, we're doing free for all, but you have to jump or you have to crouch 5 times or you have to emote 3 times or something like that to reload. I'm like, that can open up a lot of ways to play. I mean, even they showed it when they were a couple months ago before anybody got to play it like more than just the beta. They were like, yeah, here's 25 EOD bots against one like Abrams tank. All that stuff. Like that's going to be the cool stuff about it, I think. And I don't know. I'm hoping like that's what people decide to do with it, but I know there's that section of gamers that are going to be like, it's not completely faithful, and it's like, you're also kind of an asshole because it's not supposed to be completely faithful to the old games. It's supposed to just be a modernization or a revamp of it, so to speak. So I don't know. I'm excited for Portal, but I want to play everything. I want to play Hazard Zone. I want to play all the maps and experiment with all the weapons and progress and all that stuff.
So do you think people are going to come around?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think that there's going to be a good section of people that are going to come around, but I think it's almost like I'm using air quotes, the veterans of Battlefield who are going to be like, well, it's not completely faithful. Like I have a buddy who loves the class system, and when he heard specialists, he was like, I don't want to play it anymore. I'm like, you're not even going to give it a chance? He's like, no. I'm like, well, they're trying to innovate on something. I was like, I can understand, but I can see both sides of the argument where it's like, yeah, I don't like specialists. I'd rather have the class system because it worked. But then I'm also like, I played the beta and I was like, I really liked McKay and the grappling hook. I'm excited to try Sundance and her wingsuit.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I'm excited to use the wingsuit, and I'm excited to try out the other specialists. I want to play Irish and use his little like deployable shield, and all that kind of stuff. There are some that seem blatantly a bit too OP right now, like the guy who has the riot shield or whatever. He can move with it. Like I saw somebody said, yeah, his bug or like one of the bugs in the beta or like the thing they tried the public like the review event was that his hitbox was broken, so like he was just tanking damage more than he should have been. But which is like, it sounds like, oh, that sounds terrible, but I'm pretty sure that's probably a simple thing to fix. It's just some error that got screwed up. And it's like, it'll take one guy on his weekend to come in and fix that bug, I hope.
Yeah.
If it's going to be something more where it's like, well, we haven't fixed it, I only heard, funny enough, I heard one bad thing from a publication that is not gaming related at all. It's the Washington Post. And this guy was very upset because they do not have VoIP in the game. There's no VoIP. And when he asked about that, DICE said that what they looked at was that typically when people are playing shooters, they are most likely in Discord or they're in an Xbox or PlayStation party. So they did not prioritize VoIP, which completely ruins Hazard Zone if you're playing it by yourself because you have to communicate. So like that's, I think, one of the worst things I've heard. And they were like, well, it could be in by as soon as day 25. I'm like, y'all, I count it like it's after the apocalypse. Like day 25, we finally added VoIP. It's gonna be like, whoa, dude.
Oh shit.
But yeah, no, I that's like that is one thing that has kind of worried me the most. Everything else has kind of been like, I'll take it with a grain of salt, and a lot of it is subjective, right? A lot of it is very much an opinion of somebody who's just like, well, yeah, I didn't like that I had to run across the map. It's like, well, if you had pressed, B and you saw that you could call in a helicopter to come and you could like fly out of there, I'm sure you would have changed your mind. But like, yeah, the VoIP is definitely just a bad thing not being in there. I never used it before in Battlefield, but for a game mode where it obviously relies on, communication, yeah, I would kind of want something to communicate with people if my friends aren't online. So like that's it. But again, gamers are going to be gamers. They're going to find something to bitch about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what do you think? Like so let's hit the first facet of that. So in this, I guess Battlefield's kind of a tough one. So do you feel like the devs like
Mm-hmm.
oversold the beta? I feel like they oversold themselves for the beta because I feel like the map that they chose for the beta sucked.
It wasn't that fun.
It wasn't a very fun map.
I mean, the rocket's cool, but it's only cool. Like the tornado was the coolest thing
Yes.
more than anything else, and like that's in every map. So yeah, I think they kind of could have picked a better one. I would have liked to have seen the South Korean
Yes.
like city. I would have liked to have seen that
I
a
would
lot
have liked
more.
to see something that showcased more destruction. Because like it
I
didn't
think
feel very destructive aside from blowing up air conditioning units on every roof
right,
in the
yeah,
beta with one shot. Like you just shoot a bullet at one of them and be like,
and it dealt damage to people around it, which I thought was funny, just to
an
piss off your
AoE, dude.
teammates. Yeah, it really did.
AC.
And that would have been funny. I would have liked, yeah, to have seen one of the other maps, mostly too, because like they really emphasized how big they would be, and with Orbital, I really felt I was like, this feels like just like Siege of Shanghai or something that was just bigger from one of the older maps. Like it felt, or one of the older games, it was like Silk Road. It's like Silk Road's huge in Battlefield 4. It's like, yeah, but that's what Orbital felt like. It felt like just a Silk Road where it was just actually populated with more stuff and had more terrain variances and like places to run around in. So like I would have loved, yeah, to have seen like the South Korean map or the one I think it's called Discarded. It's the one with like the old shipping like the big container ships. I would have loved to have seen either of those used instead. Orbital felt pretty bland after a couple of matches. I mean, I mostly stayed around that skyscraper, like
yeah, I
where
mean,
everybody's
everybody
just
did,
running out of the
right?
roof.
And it was the
Yeah,
same
like
shit.
and that's like,
Everybody either was on top of it or they were at the base of it.
or they were at the rocket. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was very much focused on that one building, and it's like, well, yeah, because that's where you get all the kills. Like, I mean, it's just such
Yeah.
a great choke
is what it
spot
is,
on
yeah.
both sides. Yeah, so in terms of them overselling it, I think what oversold it, I think, and what they screwed up with was that they were telling everybody, yeah, we have 4 studios working on this, and we gave EA was like, we gave DICE an extra year, and we were like, oh shit, like they're
okay,
working,
all
yeah,
right,
they're
yeah,
okay,
lots of time
they're
spent on this, and then, but
yeah.
at the same time, like I'll play devil's advocate to that. Like no one at the same time in the gaming community questioned, like, hold on a second, we were in a pandemic,
Right.
so like, what is
Yeah,
a year
no, good
at?
point.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
what
you'd
what is a
assume
year
that you
being
spent
away from home
months.
or like being at home?
Yeah, I mean, you would assume that you spent months just trying to figure out how the fuck do you work on this from home,
Mhm.
collectively in an efficient manner.
They were like, yeah, we gave them an extra year, but that was because we had to spend a whole year getting everybody set up at home. And I was gonna be like, oh, well, that explains why we're only getting 2 LMGs at launch. And a lot of people complain about that, and I was one of the people who I saw that. I saw that leak where this dude showed he got into the beta last Friday, or he got into the game last Friday because his like Xbox screwed up and like let him in, and he was able to play for like he was able to play Portal. He was able to play in like 1942, and
dope.
he took a screenshot of the all the weapons in the loadout and like the loadout section, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, only 2 LMGs!" And I was like, "Y'all are talking about 2 LMGs, but like there's only 3 pistols." But I was looking at it too from a perspective of these same people who are bitching about only 2 LMGs. In a month after the game comes out, if there were 10, they were going to be like, here's the LMG to use because it's part of the meta, and here's the attachments to use for it, because that's what most shooters turn into. Look at Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Call of Duty has, Jesus Christ, 12 or like 15, maybe even more in terms of assault rifles. But when you play Warzone, you die to the same weapons every time.
Hmm.
With like, and most of the attachments as well are the same. Maybe there's one difference. The guy liked a different scope, but the rest of it is all the same. So like, maybe they didn't prioritize it because they looked at the same data for like the VoIP stuff and they were like, well, most of the time people end up using just one gun out of 15 anyway.
Yeah,
So
why
like, yeah,
put the
we're
extra
not
work
gonna.
into it? Yeah.
Yeah, why would we make another gun? And so I think actually one of the devs responded on Twitter and said something like, you have to look at it. Or no, it was Temporeal, who is a known leaker and data miner. He was like talking to somebody about it, like a dev, and they just didn't have their name on. And he was like, the thing is that with the plus system, you can make these LMGs into more than that. He's like, so for instance, if you had Battlefield 4 and you have the M5A3, which is in 2042, he said if we were going to take the M5A3 and put it into Battlefield 4 with all of its different attachments, we could get 3 assault rifles out of that.
Well, you
He's
also
like,
have
we
to
could,
assume too that like if they do, maybe I'm wrong on this, but like if they do, one good gun or just a few good guns in this case, like you said,
yeah,
where they're, people are just going to use one.
they're going to
People are going
find
to
one to
find out
use
what the
anyway.
best
Yeah.
setup is and just fucking use that. That's it.
And they're going to post it and everybody else is going to follow.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe then they can direct their time on better DLC or putting other weapons
Yeah.
in. Maybe not paid for DLC, but like more enhancements, like later on, like better weapons that can actually like change up the game, right? Because I
Yeah.
feel like the Call of Duty side of things is yes, they put some different guns and stuff like that, but it's mainly like skins and other cosmetic shit. And I feel like they
Yeah.
kind of just gas themselves out with putting out all this shit. Someone uses one setup and like they just do that for like the remainder of that game's life. So
Right.
hopefully maybe they like put the focus on this, and then maybe they can tweak it later on, and then the setup's totally changed later on, as per
Right.
other games. I mean, like it's not a great comparison, but like League of Legends, right? Like a build like 3 years ago is like a shit build. 3 months ago is like a shit build. To like
Yeah,
now, because
Smite.
they're
Smite's a
constantly
great
changing shit
example
up,
too.
right?
Yeah,
So
Smite's like this is cool and like this is a great build, but there's a reason why there are websites dedicated to builds in Smite where
yeah,
it's like here
yeah.
this is mid season 8, this is why it's good. It's late season 8, don't use it now because they changed something or
Which
like
is
this
also what makes the
doesn't.
game fucking good, because when someone comes back to it, they don't just sit there and go, "Yep, I'm going to use this scope and this, and I'll just be
Right.
able to own shit." No, it's like you
Go
gotta change it up. You gotta learn. You
go
gotta
back
change
to
things up.
Battlefield Go back to Battlefield 3. Everybody's still using the M16A3. You won't win. Every single person in that game is going to have it maxed out. It's going to be like completely leveled out. It's like, I mean, I was playing that game a year or two after the game had come out, like or like after Battlefield 4 had come out, and it was the same. Everybody uses the same stuff. I mean, so it's not uncommon. It's in FPSs, especially FPSs like COD and Battlefield and even like Apex. Look at Apex. Apex has a great example of like why would you use this slow firing DMR like the 3030 when you could just get lucky, fully upgrade like a SMG that everybody else is going to find that has a nice spawn rate. Everybody's going to upgrade it and they're all going to use it and you're going to lose. Like it's mathematical. And there's some gamer in his basement. I like to make fun of gamers. I got to. There's some gamer who just hasn't stopped playing the game and he's in his basement and he's like on the Reddit and he's like, here guys, here's the mathematically perfect build to use in 2042. And it's like, here's the gun, here's the attachments, here's your kit. So that way you can like combine. I mean, you can look it up, like look up COD best Vanguard loadout. Most of the time it's going to be the same gun that most people are already using. And like if you try to use other weapons, that's what sucks for me is it's like, yeah, I want to use the M1 Garand in Vanguard, but I can't because I died to some guy who turned an STG-44 into a P90 and I lose every time and I can't win. I can't have fun. So like, I mean, it's like maybe that's a good thing that they had so little weapons because now you maybe like it's not going to be the hardest thing in the world to do that, or you could still use the meta gun but you might be able
Yeah.
to upgrade or change it in a bit more ways than you would have expected, and now it's still viable because it's still that meta gun but you've added heavy ammo this time, or you're using a different sight, or you like the compensator more than a suppressor. I don't know, but like yeah, I mean, again, lots of people saw that there were only 22 weapons at launch, and they were like, that's incredibly low. Battlefield 4 had 15 LMGs at launch and 10 assault rifles, and it's like, but look at how many of you ended up using just the same LMG anyway. It's
No,
like, and now
that's a great
look
point.
look at the dev at Dice who's like, well, I'm glad I spent 8 months of my life working on 15 different machine guns only for you assholes to just use one. Like, you know, I mean, I would do that if I was a dev. I'd call them
I
assholes,
mean,
whatever.
it's doing well. Like on Metacritic, it's got an 80.
Yeah, yeah, and GameSpot gave it
Like
an 8 out of 10.
that's
Yeah,
pretty solid. I mean, that's good.
I
I
would
mean,
say
considering
so.
like I
For
mean, again, considering back to our point, Dice could go back in and really fix it up.
exactly, yeah. There's it's just I've heard very little bugs, or not very little bugs, but I've heard a very good optimization. The game's very well optimized. All the reviews I read, all these events, by the way, I'd like to point out that EA hosted, they all had to be played on PC. There was no console
Hmm.
play.
Which is what
And from
I'm most curious about because
you guys had a rough time of it
so
on the beta.
I'll admit to this. So like a couple episodes back, I discussed with Brody, both of us, our annoyances with going and selecting our attachments for our weapon
Hmm.
and just not understanding how that works. And we're both dumb. And
Oh
instead
boy.
of when we click, I think it's L1 on PS5, um, and like pretty much like a D-pad menu essentially shows up, right? We're sitting, okay, cool. I'm gonna use like the fucking joysticks, right, to select something. Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna use the D-pad to select something. Nope. It's the fucking X, circle, square, and triangle
What?
buttons,
That's
yeah, to
weird.
select those axes. And I just never, I mean, that didn't even
I
click to
mean,
me. But
yeah.
this is also the fucking problem is when that came out on console, there's no fucking tutorial.
Yeah, there was no
I mean, I
explanation for
could
us
get it
either,
with
if I'm not
nothing on like
mistaken.
PC. You got your fucking mouse. You're able to like, move things in some sort of natural movement.
Right.
You're constrained to the controller, and it's like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty
Um,
clear, but that was wild. I was like, what the, I mean, I want to change my shit,
right.
and I
No,
couldn't do it.
absolutely.
So
They did. They had that on the PC version where they were like, "Here, if you hit M, it pulls up the big map," and everybody was spamming M, and then it wouldn't work because it wasn't implemented yet, but the key binding still showed it. So there's some guy got on Reddit and complained about it, and it was like, "It's just not there, dude. Like, it's just not there. If you press tab, it shows up." Like, or if it doesn't show all the enemies, but it shows the sectors and
shows what's
like
going
who's
on.
taking them.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
no,
shows what's going on, and it's like you need to relax, man. Like it's just not there yet.
yeah, no, I knew how to use RoboDog before I knew how to use the attachments. RoboDog's also a piece of shit.
Robodog did not. He did not impress me.
No,
Yeah,
he's
like
very very interesting. If he gets in front of a wall, RoboDog kind of just like freezes for a bit and then freaks the fuck out, runs
his
over to you.
camera, his
And
camera stopped working.
yeah, and oddly enough, he's very slow to shoot.
He shoots at the wrong stuff. Like
Yeah,
if
he
I
does.
if I throw him down on the roof and I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, they're coming up the stairs, Robodog, go get him. And he starts shooting at a VTOL that's like on its way here. I'm like, not the biggest priority. Like that'd be nice if I could prioritize. I could like ping or
Like
like
a ping
spot them.
system, that'd be pretty
Yeah,
dope.
and I could
Or
I
like
could
you
just
could
ping
like
and
paint an area
yeah,
and he
and just
like
be like
guards it.
focus there. Yeah,
That'd be
that'd be
pretty
really
dope.
nice. Instead of it's like, hey, there's like 15 of them coming up the stairs, and Robodog's like, yeah, but you got this Apache that's like a mile and a half away. It's gonna come in. It's like
Yeah,
that's really not my
his
concern.
his attention is quite
Like
interesting.
a real dog, he doesn't necessarily
Yeah.
pay attention to the
Yeah,
things you want
no,
him to. So
completely
maybe they got
untrained.
it. Maybe they're
Like
too
I
right on
remember, I
that.
remember running with him up that super long runway up to the rocket launch site, and there's like
Oh yeah,
fucking jeeps and tanks like whizzing past both of us or whatever. And
yeah,
I'm running, and he's fucking running, and like his head's just going like
yeah, yeah. He's like I don't know what to do. It's
just
like yeah,
firing at
well,
like a million different fucking things.
it's like I appreciate the effort, Spot, but it's really not
Ugh.
working out for me. um, yeah, no, I'm curious, but like, yeah, a lot of the reviews still like most of them said like there were visual bugs and some server issues. Hopefully, it'll probably be made more apparent tomorrow, like with server issues.
Hopefully.
Visual bugs, I'm not the biggest.
Well,
I don't have the
there's a
biggest
big
problem with
day
them.
one patch is coming.
Is there? Okay, yeah, because
Yeah, that's what I
I've
see on
already
Reddit at least.
okay. I preloaded the game. It was only 45 gigs, and
Yeah, no, there's
on
supposedly some massive like
It's
Day
got to be
one.
like, yeah, because it says on there recommended that you have 100 gigs free on your SSD to start, which is like
Jesus. That might
still
just be able to
lower than
churn the old
Warzone.
files out though too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. So, if there, I'm gonna be fine if there's a day one patch. That was not explicitly stated by any review I read so far, though. If they were given the game with the day one patch, or if it was the game without it yet.
I bet
So
you it
I
was
would
probably without
assume,
it.
yeah, because
We are close
yeah,
though. I mean, it's the 19th that it comes out. So
yeah. So it could have been. It comes out tomorrow for early access
yes,
people. So, yeah, they nobody said that, and I don't know if anybody asked that. I can't imagine, especially because there were content creators there, like Westy and Jack Frags and a lot of those Battlefield content creators.
yeah, they
I feel
probably
like
have
one of
it.
them, yeah, they would have asked. Like they would have been like, "Hey, does this have the day one patch?" And if it didn't, then like great, because then that means a lot of those bugs, or hopefully it means that a lot of those bugs will be ironed out. But again, they're visual. To me, visual bugs don't really matter. Bugs matter to me when it's like
Playable.
Cyberpunk, where it's like, yeah, this is literally I can't play or I can't finish this mission or
Sure.
do something like that's gonna be my bother. But if it's just like, yeah, McKay's head is like doing a 360, he looks like an owl. It's like that's fine, that's funny. Like I'll roll with
That's
that.
funny. Give me that. It's meme
Yeah,
content.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly. Like that. This is more. I can post this on TikTok and get a couple of likes. Like, come on, like this
yeah.
is perfect.
Moving on to some kind of interesting shit regarding GTA Trilogy. Have you dove into any of this at all? What's going on
I
in
have
your world?
not. I know it came out today, right?
All right, yeah. So here's a
Yeah,
list
tell me.
of there's okay. So there's some people that are really happy with it. In basically the overall consensus is that the models, the character models, are absolute shit. Like they look
I've
awful.
heard that.
A lot of NPCs look absolutely terrible, and in
Oof.
cutscenes when you're talking to certain people, they look awful as well. There's also a decent amount of bugs in the game. That being said, people are also really happy with the environment, like specifically like when you go to the forest and stuff like that. Like it actually looks like a forest now,
Oh,
instead of what it
nice.
looked like in like San Andreas, for example.
Right.
So they're cool with that. But here's a list actually from this is on our games, and this is from House of Degenerates. It says the game is based off the mobile ports. All the games are based off the mobile ports, so it includes all the same bugs, quirks, and stuff so far.
Okay.
Reduced NPC vehicle density because of the mobile port, so apparently not the case in the 3 port. They pulled the old games from other storefronts, put it on their launcher, so
Yeah.
there's no user reviews. They also did an embargo on reviews,
Oh, did they? I didn't know
so
that. Oh
they
boy.
could not put out a fucking review for it, and
Oh
they
man.
actually cannot put a review until it actually like went to launch today. So like IGN right now doesn't have a review.
Because they
They
couldn't do
literally
anything.
couldn't, and they can't because that wasn't the version of the game. Like they didn't have the fucking thing.
Oh boy, Rockstar.
So
Wow.
there's FPS drops and stuttering on all platforms. This is like a
Oh
bullet
boy.
list that everyone's put together, like on this thing. Again, like who knows,
I
right?
gotta love.
This is a list of a lot of people putting this together, but this has quite a fair bit of upvotes and shit.
I gotta love. Still love gamers for their
Yeah,
methodology, their authenticity.
compressed low quality audio. It's missing sound effects for some weapons. The storefronts
Oh,
now have typos
fantastic.
or formatting changes that were not there previously.
Oh, great. I'm loving it.
Very ugly character models. Old Reese the barber was replaced with a generic NPC model, as were others. Awful lighting. It's either too bright or too dark. Bloom ruins a lot of scenes. Bloom where it doesn't need to be, and explosions being blindedly bright. Fog has been removed. There's no sense of scale. So you can
Oh
see
boy.
Mount Chiliad from Grove Street. You can see the square shape of the map's edge when high up as well.
Oh man. Oh, I know what Rockstar's gonna do.
Some terrain has no collision. Local
Oh,
co-op has been removed from GTA San Andreas.
what?
Top-down view
That's
removed
not too
from
surprising.
GTA 3. The model rigging is broken, resulting in moments of weird body horror. Yeah, I saw this. So there's like these moments where they'll be walking, and like this one guy has his hoodie on, and
Yeah.
his neck just keeps getting longer as he's
Oh man.
walking. It's really like ET.
Oh,
There's
I'm
some
looking.
textures missing outright. There's an invisible bridge in the wooded area of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, for example. The rain effect is implemented lazily. It doesn't fall from the sky, and the effect is overly overbearing. It affects your visibility to the point of being near unplayable. Vehicles in Vice City explode much quicker when turned over, resulting in players dying more frequently. I mean, that happened in the other shit. I don't really give a shit about that one. Pool minigame in San Andreas has graphical issues, is broken. There's missing haircuts. The lock-on system is somehow jankier also now than before.
Oh boy.
Shooting. Yeah, people are
Oh yeah.
pretty pissed on it. And then there's some people who are complaining about the Nintendo Switch version, and then people are like, to be fair, it's on the Switch. Is one of the comments, which is just too funny. But yeah, people are like, PC port is also pretty bad. Feels very stuttery, and I'm getting significantly lower FPS than what I get playing GTA 5 on Mac settings at 1080p. Even Red Dead 2 runs a lot better. Unacceptable, in my opinion, considering the graphical quality of these games. And this guy's running an RTX 3070 with an AMD 3600 and 16 gigs of RAM. And it's installed on an SSD.
Oh, well. Sorry, buddy. You're going to have to get a 3080. It's clearly not working for you.
And people said it runs like ass on the Series X.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, people are ripping into this fucking thing online. And it's crazy to me that they would hold off on any sort of the fucking any reviews. I mean, people are basically like, hey, I've held off on this because I didn't see any fucking reviews, and I'm glad I'm not going to do this. Like, here's something from Optical Radio Gaga on Reddit. It says, first off, there's a reason why Rockstar showed next to no gameplay of this game. Think back to any recent release, and they've always done a gameplay overview, but obviously that's not the case with this remaster. Add the fact that there's still a review embargo in place. Rockstar knew exactly what they were pitting out. I've played a few hours of San Andreas on Game Pass, and good God, are there a boatload of glaring issues. Why is there even an option for fidelity and performance? A game this old should give you the best of both worlds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the rain thing seems to keep coming up. The models, though, is the biggest thing, bro. Like, people are just stunned at the models. Like,
what
it is.
The fuck?
Are you looking at any of them?
I've been looking some stuff up.
It's some bad shit.
Not very good.
Like, dude, what in the fuck is this? Here,
So,
I'll send that to you in Discord, and I'll share it on the stream. Hold on a second.
Sure thing. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I saw that. That's
like, what?
I did see that one. That one's yeah.
I mean,
I did see that, and I was looking this up, and I agree. Yeah, whatever that person said when you were reading it. That yeah, I mean, like if you go back and you look at Red Dead Redemption 2, they announced it, and then they showed like a trailer, and then they had two separate gameplay overviews where they went like it was 10 minutes each, so it was 20 minutes worth of them just explaining the processes and systems of the game and like how in-depth stuff went. So like Rockstar is very, very thorough when it comes to their games. I'd like to say that this was not developed by them. It was only published by them. It was developed by Grove Street Games. So they went through and did all of the stuff because it's not even actually using their engine. Rockstar uses the Rage engine. This was all done with Unreal Engine. I do understand though why a lot of people might have been upset or like why they were like criticizing why people are criticizing the games being removed from digital retailers on consoles and like here on PC. That saw that one too. That one's really good. What do you mean? There's nothing wrong with that model. He looks completely normal.
What the fuck is that?
So like, yeah, I think it's really weird that they got rid of it, or not weird. I'm assuming there's some
AI for half of this shit. Like I don't, you know what I mean? This just seems like one of those experiments where it's like,
yeah,
how much we don't have to do.
Yeah, I mean, like Rockstar at the end of the day is like, yeah, whatever.
This image is, hey, there's a plugin for that. Don't worry.
Oh, good lord! What is up with his nails?
Right?
You see that?
And so people are like online, be like, "What the fuck?"
His shoes going into the
like
ground too.
Scenes, dude, where like, and someone nailed it pretty good on a comment where it was like, they basically said it seems like the older characters, even though from a technological perspective, couldn't express much detail, they still found ways to create more detail in them than the current remastered models.
It's like when they, it's like using
when they skinned them, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's like uncanny, like bad emotions that are shown, or like they force these weird, like the technology couldn't show much emotion, and they somehow like tried to Frankenstein it to be able to
Yeah,
do it, and it
well,
just
it
ends up
looks
looking
like,
like
and like none of
crap.
the models look the same. Like if you go back to the two like gangster dudes, right? Like the two,
Yeah, his
um,
eyes are completely different. Like the
yeah,
the
they
guy with
look
the shirt
like
off, like yeah.
two different freaking games on the bottom square. Like on the left looks like RuneScape.
Well, on the top, it's on the top, it's like I want GTA, and on the bottom, it's mom saying we have GTA at home.
Yeah, but I
Like
mean, like, look at the dude on the bottom right and then the guy on the bottom left.
yeah, that's what
There
I'm
are
looking at.
details to the fucking guy on the bottom right's face. There's at least more contour and other shit
Yeah,
going on there. And the guy on the left, first of all, he's missing a bandana. I don't know
yeah, he
why.
is. I don't know what happened with that. They forgot. They were like,
Oops.
oh wait, they're not. He's not wearing a bandana. It's like, yeah, forget about it. It's neat. It's like, no, I mean, it's
Jesus
not.
Christ, dude.
I'm gonna be one of those guys where it's like, yeah, it's a faithful recreation of the old games. I'm like, is it faithful?
A
And I'm gonna show that
faithful
picture.
recreation,
I'm
yeah.
gonna show that picture. Like he's missing his bandana. Like, how could you guys forget this? Like, this is the most important thing about this character.
Oh my
Um,
god.
I don't know. I didn't. I never played the old ones. I never played these. I was too young. And I was excited when I first heard about like them redoing it. But then I was looking through like YouTube and just people like just cracking up at like how awful some of them look. That's just like, yeah, it's like well, I mean, Rockstar's not the. I would like to say Rockstar is also not that surprising when it comes to like I think you worded it quite well when they were like they're just doing it to see what it looked like. It's like, does anybody remember LA Noire? Those facial animations were terrible. They were the worst.
Yes.
But like they did it because they were like, well, let's just see how it looks. Let's
Have
make a
you
game
have you
about
seen
it.
the rain?
I have not. Actually, I just saw a picture on
Okay,
Wikipedia.
here's the rain. The pictures don't do it justice. It's the actual video that does it. I'll share it
Okay.
as well on the screen here. But yeah, I mean, for those
Oh.
of you listening, it basically looks like a fucking snowstorm. I
Yeah,
mean,
and it's
this
all
is
falling the same
pretty
way.
rough.
Yeah, well, it looks. It's one of those things where it's like
How do you
it
play
doesn't.
that?
Yeah, I don't know how you find like how
How-
you
Who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
imagine driving through that, but like it's one of those things where back in older games when it would be raining and you were running and it would look like the rain was following along with your character. It wasn't just naturally falling as it
Oh
was.
my god.
That's what it looks like. And it does not look. That has never looked good, and it's always obvious to tell when that's what's going on. It's not. It's play Red Dead Redemption when it rains, and then play this when it rains. You can clearly tell that it's like the rain is just following your character, and then you play Red Dead, and it's like no, it's just raining here in this area, and it looks completely different, feels completely different. Some of the character models in stills look really good.
Yeah.
Like Claude from
Like,
GTA
I mean,
3
dude, there's
looks
some
fantastic.
great shit. Like, I mean, there's this great photo or image of the environments where people are saying, look, the environment is fantastic. I mean,
Right.
they've really, done an amazing job with it. But then the character models just like take you out of the whole fucking thing. Like, look at that one. That one's fantastic, right? Like the bushes and
Right.
everything and everything.
Yeah,
going
that
on
looks
there. I mean,
great.
that is fantastic. But I mean, that's
That
pretty
looks
easy
great.
shit. They're just,
Yeah.
taking the same models from Red Dead 2 and fucking GTA 5 and popping them in.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that that grass and the shrubbery looks exactly like Red Dead 2. That looks
Right.
pretty damn close.
So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I feel like people got fucking taken advantage of.
Oh, I'm sure, because especially because Rockstar literally like announced it just last month. They officially said, "Yeah, this is coming to your systems," and then yeah, they had no gameplay reveal or like gameplay show off, and it's like you can clearly tell that it's not. Rockstar was like, "We're gonna publish this because it's a favor and we appreciate all the work you did," but like this is not a Rockstar made like game. Because it's like they would never allow this to be one of their own games. Are you kidding me? Like Sam
But they
Houser,
did.
they didn't make it. Those
I
what I'm
know
saying.
they
They
did,
just
but
put
the
it in.
fucking names on it. That's the problem. They still I mean, you can't tell me they just said, have at it, guys,
is
and
all-
fucking release it. This has to be
It's
okayed.
actually this is like, okay, this is a bad thing because I hang out with Nick too much, but maybe this is just, and this is a conspiracy, but maybe this is just them putting a bad taste in all these gamers' mouths about GTA, so that way when they announce 6, it's like the holy grail of games, like
Yeah.
of GTA's.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Watch that clip. Watch that clip of Hot Dog Hand.
Oh, what? That is bad.
That is
Oh my
bad.
gosh.
He's got like fucking 8-inch fingers.
How do I make this my Discord profile picture?
I don't know.
It's my immediate. Yeah, there we go. I got it.
Oh my god, dude. There's so much shit wrong
It's
with
bad.
this fucking game, dude.
Oh, it's bad. It's like not good.
You know
None of
what's,
it is good.
like bugs me the most is they could have just done one of these like actually remastered.
Yeah, all they had to do was just not one and just do it right.
Yes, and do it right, like ground up.
Like
And
that's
what about the shit out of it?
so like when I heard it had been rumored. Yeah, there we go. I got the picture it uploaded. Like it had been rumored about them making like going through and remaking this, and when I heard it at first I was like, that seems awesome, like that'd be really cool. But then when I first saw the trailer, like when they announced it last month, I was like, this isn't Resident Evil 2 remake, this is just remastering. Yeah, like this is just giving it a nice polish. Or like I think there was another game that came out earlier this year. It was a remaster, but that's exactly what it was. It was like, yeah, it's a remaster with 4K textures, and it's like it looks no different realistically. You don't see a big difference from the old game to now. And like this is the same thing where it's like Resident Evil 2 back in the day compared to Resident Evil 2 remade is completely different from the ground up.
Yeah.
It is like looks fantastic, plays differently, and it's like when I heard that I was like, that's cool. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, you guys aren't like doing the Capcom way of doing things. Capcom for Resident Evil anyways has done a very good job of remaking their old games. Like cuz they do it from the ground up. They're like, yeah, we're not just going to remaster Resident Evil 2 and then leave you suckers with the tank controls and let you guys fend for yourselves and be upset. They're like, no, we're going to actually remake the whole game, make it look fantastic, make it play great, and keep you interested. And that's exactly what they did. And it's like, GTA was like, hot dog fingers, have fun. Like, this is what you get, gamers. What? All right, this is an NSFW link. I gotta look at it.
Let me put this up.
Yeah.
This is
Oh,
just
man.
too fucking funny, dude.
What? Oh, ew. Oh, this is bad. It's like it's painted on her. Yeah.
Look at that. What
Before
the fuck?
one of the top comments is before Vice City had Brazilian butt lifts. Rockstar Street scamming. Underrated title.
Oh my god, dude. It's so bad.
Oh, it's not. This is terrible. Grand Theft Auto r/GTA. Oh, let's look at this Reddit.
Dude,
oh yeah,
it
this is bad.
Such a fucking shit show.
You can. Oh no, Jeff.
What's up, buddy?
What do you notice wrong here with this image with CJ?
His torso's floating.
Yeah, it's cut off.
All of it's cut off. His armpit. Yeah. Oh my god, bro.
Yeah, they didn't. It definitely isn't polished. I'd say that much.
No, it's definitely not.
No.
It's clearly did not make it through the QA.
Well, the QA, it was one guy. It was
the same guy making it.
Yeah. It was just the whole team. It was all in house. They didn't outsource QA to anybody, and they just let it go. And they were like, yeah, like here, that's a great meme. All right, GTA subreddit's having a field day with this. They're having fun, tearing apart this game.
That's painting.
Oh God. He's like got the weirdest face. Yeah, no, it's bad. Oh wait, this is what it looks like on PS5 when you're on the quad bike.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that. He was behind you, and he's just.
Yeah. Well, it's like, and a lot of people were like, you know what? Honestly, I'm glad they released it this way because it is a good laugh. I love that. A lot of people who are like fans of them are just like, this is great. Good job, guys. Fair to say, what do you think? Grove Street Studios probably not getting another contract from Rockstar. I'd be willing to bet.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
what
know
it,
who's more to blame.
I
At
feel
the end of
like
the day, someone makes something for you, and you have to look at it and
and
release it. And
go
you would also think that, like they would probably be working with Rockstar in some method of like, hey, can we have this? Or hey, we need that model or access to this. You know what I mean? And it's like they had to come to them and say, this
right.
is our character model.
Well, like look at Microsoft with something like Forza, right? Like they don't develop Forza games. Playground Studios does.
Yeah.
And it goes through Microsoft like for I guarantee I swear to God those games are like it's 5 years before the game comes out and Microsoft has like 500 people just doing QA on it and it like comes out perfect. I mean, I just played Horizon 5. That game
Oh,
is
which it's
beautiful.
a perfect. You got a 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, and it honestly it deserves it. Like it's perfectly optimized. It runs fantastic. It's great. It's fun. Like I still have a great time with it. Kind of tired of having to race Lambos. Really getting bored of it. But like other than that, like I'm having a great time with it. Like I like unlocking all the cars and stuff again. But yeah, like it goes through a heavy QA phase. I mean, as all I'm sure Microsoft Studios do. Like Sea of Thieves probably goes through a heavy QA thing, and it's probably just something like for Sea of Thieves, it's obviously like a content issue when it first came out. Like it just didn't have a lot to do, and it's like, but it ran great. I'll say that much. It ran fine for me. So like, it's like yeah, Rockstar was like, I feel like Rockstar was like exactly kind of what you just did there, where it's like they're looking like this, but they're like handing the money. They're like,
Bro,
just take it.
look at the image I just sent you. So you know how they
Oh,
had
what?
that. You know how they had that issue with 789.
Yeah. What was this? Is this for their fix?
Yeah.
It's not too good. He's not even holding that bottle either. And the guy on the right, he's like, that's just
No,
like,
he's not. You're right.
it's like one of
But
those
they've just
action figures where you just
placed
mold the
over a
hand.
9 over top of what looks like a. I mean, it's not 3D, but just with
It's
the
like a
way it's
Photoshop.
wrapped,
Like
it looks like a 7. But yeah, they've just like
you just,
Microsoft painted a 9 on there.
yeah, yeah. He just like they were like, yeah, this is good. This is good quality work. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
Jesus.
it is weird because, I mean, Rockstar's not really known as a publisher. They're known as a developer, but like my man, you're not really to me. You're not doing good in the publishing game because this is not
My man.
impressive. Yeah, my man, it's not. Oh wow, that's not good. That 7-9 is fantastic. That's my favorite.
Oh shit, that
That's
is
the
too
best.
funny. So
Along with the hand.
yeah. Anyways, I mean, most of the things people are saying is just like it's too fucking dark,
Yeah,
and the rain is absurd. And other than that, the environments look a lot nicer.
yeah. Which you can see, they definitely look pretty.
Yeah, they do. I mean, the grass, the trees and stuff like that. Down in the city and stuff like that doesn't look so great. I mean,
I'm sure.
it just looks like still looks pretty blocky and shit like that. But
Right. What can you do?
tell you what, dude, let down for sure. On
Yeah,
this one, totally. This one's the dev's fault, 100%.
yeah. And it was just Rockstar going, yeah, just go ahead. Works for us. It's like what? What do you mean it works for you? Yeah, Grove Street Studios. I'm sorry, you guys are not getting another contract to develop another out here. Maybe I mean I don't know. Can you remaster LA Noire? Because I might pay for that. Like, could you remaster it so that way I can actually run it at 60 FPS and the cars not fly all over the place like a Fallout game?
You know, they were saying that they might not do like LA Noir
I was reading actually about it
because
last
of
week.
the whole police thing, and they just don't want to
Oh
do
my
that.
god.
Yeah. Well, and then there was also a conversation that they didn't want to do. People were saying like, "Oh man, maybe they'll bring Bully."
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure
I mean,
that's
it's a
been
pretty
a
beloved game,
yeah. I never played it.
but they
I
won't
was
do that
too
either
young.
because I mean they removed stuff from these games.
Yeah, well, they'll never do Manhunt again because then they're gonna have Laura Ingraham on Fox News come back for a special feature, and her bitching about like, oh my gosh, yeah, he's stabbing someone in the game. It's like, well, you fucking watched Goodfellas, didn't you?
Oh,
Like, and your kids, I'm sure, watch that shit, but you didn't tell them no for that because it's like, well, that's what happened. That's how all Italian Americans are. It's like, no, it's not, but like, we're gonna gloss over that one. Um, no, I mean, I never played Bully. I know it's pretty beloved, and I know it's a good game. I know from Nick that he really liked it, and I wouldn't mind if they redid it because I would want to play it. L.A. Noire, I mean, one of those things I could see maybe now with just it being a police thing, but the real like draw of it is obviously the investigation and like looking at the hilarious facial models and going, is he lying? Is he like does this kind of nonsense? Like just looking every which it just looks terrible.
they
But
said they
like,
took 2 years to make this.
oh, it doesn't look like it. It
That's my
doesn't look
favorite
like it.
response ever from you.
Doesn't look like it.
Ooh, it don't look like it.
It doesn't look like it at all. I mean, yeah, like look. I mean, these memes are
These are
cutthroat.
great memes. This has
Oh, they're
produced
brutal.
incredible memes. I will give you that.
Yeah, I'll give Grove Street Studios that. Your game might not have been like that great, but like, God, man, people are having a field day with this. Like, these are going to be around for a hot minute. The hot dog hands are great. Like, I'm loving
Yeah.
the 7 and 9. That one's great. I don't know, man. That really sucks
The,
because
the guy
I was
with
hoping
double jointed arms.
yeah.
That's
Well, and
pretty
like
neat.
the nails, everybody's got a manicure. Like they got really nice nails.
Yeah,
They're
everyone's got
bright.
white nails.
They're shining. The rain is actually just snow.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, this is sad. Like
I love it.
I
It's
do feel
great.
bad. I do feel bad because somebody did work hard on this, and it's just like,
Somebody worked something.
yeah, hard might not
I
be the
don't
right
know
word,
how
but
hard is the might have been hard for someone to work on.
yeah,
The
but
way
it's
this
probably
turned
hard
out.
for them to work on. Yeah, which is why it came out looking the way it did.
Yeah, I just this is fucking
Like
something.
like CJ's torso isn't even attached to his legs. Like, what's going on here? What is this? What is this? Like, what is going on? Why is it when I look back on the quad bike, I just get like a GoPro view of CJ, like fat CJ, just like barely breathing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, wow, this is a steaming pile of something.
Before we wrap this up, one quick. I always like to throw this in the random Switch news of the week because Nintendo just likes to throw shit out. Twitch is now available on the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yay! Because that's where I want to watch my streams.
Oh
How do
god.
they
Just
do it?
randomly release.
Nintendo's like and I don't have any like ill will towards Nintendo, but is it bad to say that Nintendo's just like the cockroach of the gaming industry? Like
Ooh.
it just doesn't go away, man. Like
Whoa. I think
what?
I think it deserves a place, dude, with its IP.
Really?
Yeah, of course. It deserves a place.
It's like every couple of years it's just another Mario game.
I mean I agree with that. Like but the thing is they're the only ones who can do it.
That's true. Okay. They're not the cockroach anymore.
It's
I take
not
that
like
back.
it's
That goes
like
to
another
that goes to Bethesda. Yeah, I gotta roast
Bethesda's
somebody.
Pretty,
Bethesda could be.
I haven't heard any review shit on that. I mean, have you? I mean, they've just put the fucking game out. They didn't do anything different to it, right? The 10th anniversary.
I don't think so. I imagine they did not do anything special for it.
My question is, when are they going to do another one?
Other Skyrim, or
Yeah, something to that level.
well, so there everybody. I mean, and I stress the term everybody, but I know Nick likes to be that guy who's like, well, Starfield is looking to be pretty good. I'm like, I don't know if I'd call it that yet. Like, I don't know. I'm still pretty skeptical. Isn't the guys who did oh, never mind. They're making a second one of the same game. What was it? It was the Obsidian Entertainment made one. It was that space. It was the space like faring RPG that was supposed to be like a yeah. It was like Space Fallout. You know what I'm talking about? It's on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm talking
Other
about?
Worlds? Is that
Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds.
Is it Outer Worlds or Other Worlds?
The Outer Worlds, yeah,
Okay, the
Outer Worlds. Yeah, they're just making a second one. I was like, I thought they were making like, I thought Obsidian was doing another game, but I think yeah, they're just making a second one of that. Which I swear to God, I played the Outer Worlds for 5 actual minutes, and then went, no, this is not fun. Yeah, no, yeah, Nintendo doesn't get the cockroach comment. It probably goes to Bethesda. No, I'm sorry, it goes to Todd Howard. He just He just comes back every couple years and tells us about how things are just going to work, and then they don't.
Oh my god, yeah, and it just works.
It just works. We need 16 times the. Have you ever see that video from the Internet Historian where he just roasts the shit out of the game? It's a 25-minute video of him just pointing out the hilarity. Whereas, like, yeah, he kept saying we need 16 times the detail, and then they sent it to the B team in Austin, Texas, not the A team. Like, they didn't send it to the main developers, they sent it to an inexperienced team, and they were like, Todd, we don't have the money, or like, we don't have the time for this. And he was like, it needs to be 4 times the size of Fallout 4. And they were like, what? And he was just like, yeah, 16 times the detail, get on it. And I was like,
Well,
oh
here's
my
the crazy
gosh.
thing too, right? With Deathloop, like you heard some people talk about it. I heard some people say some good things about it here and there,
I thought
and
it
then
was pretty good. I still never finished it.
it just died.
It was kind of like a Titanfall situation. Like it's really good when you first play it, it gives you a great like rush, and then you kind of just go, "Oh, it's just another Dishonored," or it feels like another Dishonored. And I mean, that's not really surprising. It is from Arcane Studios, and if you go back to, uh, I think it was Might and Magic: The Dark Messiah, there are still animations they used from that game, which, if I'm not mistaken, Dark Messiah came out. Yeah, Dark Messiah of Might and Magic came out in 2006. There are animations, kill animations, like assassination animations that they took from that game and then put into Dishonored, which came out in like I'm gonna look it up just to be certain. Came out in 2012. Came out 6 years later. Still used the same animations, and then Dishonored 2 came out, which was I think 2 years after. 2016 was 4 years later, and yeah, use the same animations. So like Arcane reuses a lot of their stuff. They don't really remake a lot of stuff. Um and they did the same kind of thing. And yeah, Deathloop, yeah, like you said, just kind of went away after a couple weeks, or not even like one or two, and it was just done. You know what I really want to play? New
What?
Batman game. Arkham game. I'd love for them to make a new one.
What do you think about the?
Are they
We'll
doing
talk about
one?
this real quick before we wrap up. The oh my god, what's the one with the Harley Quinn?
Um Gotham Knights or something
Gotham
like that.
Knights. Yeah, are you excited
That's
for that?
that I think it's actually made from the same guys who made the Arkham
Yes,
series,
it's part of the team. Yeah.
Rocksteady. Yeah. I am and I'm not because like it's a new game. I'm excited to try it, but then part of me as well is looking at it as well. I would also I'd prefer maybe just another Arkham game because they've done so well, and like that's a
Yeah, it
formula
is
that they
kind of odd how they don't
like they
want
don't
to
ever go
continue
back
that.
and yeah, like an Arkham Knight was so good and it was so much fun to play, and like they
But
really
Asylum.
innovated. Yeah, Asylum was great. I really liked that one, but it's like you go from Asylum to City, and City was good too. And then Night just kind of added on with the Batmobile and like having a more
Yep.
open world of it, of like
Yep.
being able to go around and all that. Like it just was so good. And then they're like, yeah, we want to do like Gotham Knights or Gotham City, whatever. And it's like you guys are doing so good with this stuff though. Like you guys created the modern combat formula, right? Of like X is attack, Y is counter, and like you can do these if you do them quickly and you do them right. Like you rack up great combos. Like they were the first people to do that with Arkham Asylum. So it's like you never had. They don't have to really innovate on it much more than what they did with Night, which allowed you to use a lot of your gadgets on the fly too. So like, yeah, no, I don't know. I'd really like to see that. But oh, you're talking about no, I'm sorry. You're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yes.
That's the 4-player co-op one.
Yes. My apologies.
Yeah, no, I just looked it up and I just saw it. That yeah, I'm excited to try that. I am excited to see how that
I
goes.
think it's
Comes out
cool. I
next
think it
year.
looks like a neat take on it all. I mean, I think it'll be good. I mean, also
That's what I
like
was gonna
four
say.
player
Yeah,
co-op. I mean,
we need more of those games.
yeah, we don't.
Like Payday 3 soon, please. We're all kind of waiting for that one. That's next. That's in 2 years though. That's 2023.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I want more good games, not bad ones. I don't want GTA Extended
You don't
Trilogy.
want this? You don't want this sweet
I
stuff?
don't want. I don't want 7-9 and hot dog hands.
7-9 hot dog hands and
Oh no,
fucking
yeah, I'm
wobble
good.
ass or whatever the hell
I'll
you'd call that. I don't even know
I'll
what that
pass.
was. That was
I don't even want to.
crazy.
I don't even want to give my money to Rockstar. I feel like I have to uninstall Red Dead Redemption 2 now just to cleanse my system. like this
I mean,
malware.
here's the thing: they're not going to fucking release or announce Grand Theft Auto. If they announce Grand Theft Auto 6,
Could
it's
you
not going to come
imagine?
out for
It
fucking
comes out.
years.
It comes out. It's good. Like this comes out. GTA Definitive Trilogy or whatever comes out critically panned, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we need Plan B. What are we gonna do to save our face?" And they're just like, "Yeah, Grand Theft Auto 6." It's like, uh... yeah, that'd be
Dude,
funny.
I mean, when they come out with it, it's going to be fucking nice.
Well, I'm gonna have probably a kid by the time they come out with it. Jesus. I'm gonna have my own home and a mortgage, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, here's GTA 6." It's like I don't have the time for this anymore.
The time.
Yeah,
Enough.
I can't even enjoy it.
Well, much like
Yeah,
Definitive Edition, this will do it for us.
yeah.
Well,
We're done here.
thanks for listening, guys. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Diggity Podcast. Evan, where can they find you? And what do you guys do and talk
You
about?
can find the WASD and Beyond podcast at Instagram Beyond WASD or WASD podcast, and then you can find our Twitter Beyond WASD, and then we have all of our links there to listen to us. We're on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to stuff, and yeah, we kind of do something like the Diggity Boys here, where we just talk about games and news and specific topics, maybe sometimes older stuff that like Nick comes up with. Nick comes up with a lot of our topics, and I kind of roast him sometimes. Like today, he said the main topic will be midnight releases, and I was like, that seems like, you know what I also think about when I think of midnight releases? I think of going to bed. That's like, I was like kind of a snooze fest with that topic. So yeah, we kind of talk about a couple different things, and then we also, in terms of the beyond stuff, we do talk about movies that we really like, or TV shows, or music and that kind of stuff. So yeah, you can listen to us there, and you can listen to myself with my good friend Matthew, and obviously my good friend Nick, and we all kind of make fun of Nick and then talk about the topic. So
It's good. It's a good old
yeah.
time. And then,
Oh,
yeah, we also have OBO, which is also
yeah, we
great
have
as well. So,
OVO with these guys. Yeah,
that gets wild. That's a crazy podcast.
that's the best
absurd.
one.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thanks so much for listening and watching, and